What up, everybody? Ghosts, goblins, ghosts of Christmas past, those who love Christmas, those who hate Christmas, and everybody in between. We are hopsgeeknews, your home for comic books, movies, TV shows, and typically we feature a beer of the week. I am Matt. With me, as always, is Lauren. In today's episode, we are going back 25 years. We've never done this. We didn't realize that we hadn't done it, but we're going to kick off Christmas season, holiday season, with The Grinch. Jim Carrey's The Grinch from the year 2000. Ron Howard directed. We'll dive into that a little bit later, but if you're new here, we like to go into what we're drinking, reading or watching, some news, and then our main topic, and of course, our beer of the week. Mine this week is Mad Elf from Trogs. I feel like it's good. Haven't had it in a while. It's a holiday ale. It's 11%. We do like to shout out local breweries and like, subscribe, share, follow, as always, Hopsgeek News on every podcast platform and social media platform. So, Lauren, what festive Grinch type beer do you have?
So I actually do have some Christmas beers in the fridge, but I've picked this one that's not necessarily Christmas, one, because Micah just sent it to me. So shout out to Tavern Geek. Right. And two, because it's from the Vale. And three, it's called Doom Volume. It had has a trumpet on it and made me think of noise.
Yes.
So that is why I picked this one. And I have it in my Merry, Merrier, Merriest glass, because like when the Grinch's heart grew 3 times that day.
I'm
shocked I don't have like Grinch toys or a Grinch beer glass or anything Grinch, but I do have this sweet robe.
I don't. It's weird. I don't either. I would have thought I did. The kids are, Carey and I love it. But the kids have been, we're scared of the real action Grinch, which is bullcrap because we've watched it so many times. And then we just watched it and Harper all of a sudden was like, perfectly into it and not scared at all. So
my kids are fine with it. And we at Islands of Adventure, they have the Grinchmas. So we've done that before. We're going to do that again this year. So I think it's just one of those random things. I have it like stuff from every single movie except the Grinch. I don't know why. But now I have this. I recently bought a hat and some head things for a Christmas special because I needed new headpieces.
Oh crap, I got to get some Christmas special gear myself. Oh no, we're on episode 298. Our Christmas special is in a couple weeks, and I think that might be like our unofficial
kickoff to Christmas.
Yeah, we are about to be on episode 300. Now, we've done probably closer to 400 between all the interviews, but yeah, this is it.
Supernatural bonus episodes.
Oh yeah, which we're going to get back to. Don't worry. And all that stuff. So let's go into what we're reading or watching this week. And man, huge week for comic books if you're thankful for that sort of thing like I am, because DCKO issue 2 is out. I'm not going to spoil it because we are recording before
new and I will get mad at you if you spoil it.
Has not read it yet. Just know it's chaotic in the best way possible. Absolutely insane. Scott Snyder, Josh Williamson, Javi Fernandez.
First one was crazy. I was like, what? You killed that person? Didn't see that coming.
You just wait. It gets so much
crazy.
Followed up by Absolute Batman 14, which ends the Bane saga, but does it. So that one, again, I'm not spoiling any of these. Amazing comic. Absolute Wonder Woman issue 14. This sets up the big crossover event between Batman and Wonder Woman in the Absolute universe in December. And really good. The story just really gets better. Kelly Thompson, man, she really knows how to tell this story, but she's a great writer overall. So she knows how to tell any story. And then I did the Christmas DC. It's DC presents Ma Hunkel Kissing Santa Claus. It's got 8 stories, all really beautifully done in them. There's a lot going on there. I did do Batman Green Arrow Question Arcadia. That's more detective noir style, which Batman's kind of the antagonist in that story, believe it or not, which I thought was really interesting, but also pretty cool. And then Marvel Zombies, Red Band number 3. It's funny, but it shows, man, 2 characters now are teaming up with somebody pretty massive, and we'll see how that goes for them. It's a bold strategy. And then finally, Daredevil and Punisher, the crossover there from Jimmy Palmiotti, issue number 1. I didn't know that it was kind of taking place at a time when the Twin Towers were still around. I'll say that it's not much of a spoiler. It's just the last page features the Twin Towers, which I thought was pretty crazy. But yeah, their relationship has always been certainly interesting, and they're really diving into that. And I'm here for the crossover. You know me, massive Daredevil mark. Aside from that, Hallmark movies, I'm not going to go into it and bore you with it unless you want to know that.
So you did like a collab with your personal account in our Hopsgeek News Instagram with your Hallmark review. And I wanted to leave like a comment like, this does not represent the whole podcast, but I would know that you would love to have like a connection with the Hallmark Christmas movie. So I was like, okay, I'm not going to crap on it.
They're probably not going to see
it. I let it run. Did I listen to
it?
I
have been watching Finding Mr. Christmas, and I do have a fun story real quick. We were watching the first season, which was last year. Okay. And this one dude, Daxton, was on it. He had to go home. Turns out I told you this story probably, but you're just going to listen to it again. So he ended up having retinal tears. So I reached out on Instagram, was like, hey, you were my wife and I's, favorite. We're watching this. It sucks. I'm sorry. He ended up having 3 retinal tears. I was like, yeah, dude, I had 5 and it was in a competition, but he goes 5. What the hell?
But if
And
it
I was
was, you would have won.
like, I ended up getting, how many, I feel like I should win some sort of Guinness World Record, but I ended up, it was like, hey, I got this buckle done and stuff. Well, he did too. And he's still getting his vision back. And that's kind of scary, but
It'd be
yeah,
fun.
fun connection, I guess, if you're into those sort of things. But that was my story. That's what I got. What did you read this week?
What did
I'm
I
gonna put
read?
you on a
What
solo.
didn't I read? So Hornsby and Halo is out. There's a new one. I really like how this is picking up. That's the angel child and the demon child and heaven and hell with the truce. But there's a lot of stuff going on now, and it was really cool to kind of see. They introduced a new character in this issue, and I don't want to say what
Ooh,
kind of character it is, but
I'm
let's just
so far
say it
behind.
instantly reminded me of Supernatural. So it wasn't a
Oh,
demon or an
oh,
angel,
oh yeah, I
and so I
read
really liked
Supernatural
that
issue 2 from
character.
Dynamite. Duh.
What?
Sorry, I forgot to
Oh yeah.
mention that we both read
Well,
Supernatural. My bad.
I was gonna wait till it wasn't just me on the screen to talk that one, but I like where this is going. It's getting better. I feel like with each issue, it's picking up. They did a lot of groundwork. I feel like developing these 2 kids and their stories because they were adamant they just wanted to be regular kids, but they can only deny that for so long. But this new character, I love that they did a twist on Noah's Ark and the flood because I
Oh,
love
that's
when they
fun.
take biblical things and they're like, "Oh, this is why that happened," and I was like, "Oh, that's kind of cool." Like how they did in Good Omen. I was like, "Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of harsh." So that was really good. Quick Stops Volume 3, Issue 4. This is the last Volume 4. We get more info behind the infamous finger cuffs story at a
Oh,
family dinner, no
what?
less. So the Jones girls, there's 3 of them. So you have like the one I think was in Clerks. One was obviously chasing Amy, Alyssa Jones. And then
Mhm.
the youngest one is the one that was doing the documentary and sleeping with all the dudes and got Ben Affleck's
Oh, yeah.
character arrested.
Yeah, Mallrats, yeah.
So it's basically a family dinner with the 3 of them, and their parents
Oh,
are
that's
like
fun.
major stoners, and they weave in a whole bunch of stuff from all over the Askew universe. Any Kevin Smith fan, fantastic. This was another great volume of Quick Stops. Number 3 was still my favorite. The Metatron Dogma one was, oh my god, chef's kiss on
Yeah.
that one. You got me saying chef's kiss now. I feel dirty. Boba Fett, Black, White,
Congrats.
and Red. So these are all kind of standalone. They're all different artists and they're all different authors as well. So this one was good. I really like where it's going, but they're just like fun little side stories. And like this one went back into the past of Boba Fett as a kid, and it was like a bounty he didn't finish. So then he wanted
Ooh,
to
interesting.
finish that bounty. So that one was good. Really liked the art in this one. Again, it's 3 different artists. It's all been great, but like because you can only use black, white, and red, they're kind of limited. But the art in this was like so like soft, but it's still obviously very violent. It's Boba
Yeah.
Fett, and he's doing his Boba Fett thing,
Yeah,
doing his
the black,
bounty
white, and
hunter.
reds are typically, like, known for their extra violence at the same time.
Yeah, but I don't know what it was about this artwork. It was just like poetically beautiful in
Yeah,
some way or another. Oh. And then, yeah, let's talk Supernatural. So Supernatural number 2 from Dynamite was dropped, and they went to Vegas, baby.
they did. I do enjoy that, at least in the comics, they are going places that we don't get to see in the TV show because it makes
That's what
it
I love
like
about the books too.
the world is a little bit bigger and we get to see some of those things. Because why would they never go to a big city, right? Obviously,
Well,
they
they
couldn't.
always
Oh,
they do
but
have a yearly Vegas trip, but we don't. Other
oh,
than when Sam married Becky, we
yeah,
never get to go.
right. And so we got to go in this issue, which I thought was pretty cool, and the artwork was pretty decent as well. And I, mm,
I
not
feel like
love.
it's still finding its
Yeah, it hasn't quite.
feet. It's yeah,
It's like, the first season of a TV show where it takes a few episodes or a little bit to find its footing. That's where I feel like it's at. I'm not giving up on it. I
right.
do like seeing Supernatural comic book. I want more of it.
Yeah, they
I'm gonna
do
stick
know
it
the
out.
characters, like, and you
Yeah.
have to remind yourself this is 2005 Sam and Dean, not
Yes.
2020 Sam and Dean. But it still doesn't feel like it's completely canon to the world yet. I'll say that. Uh, but I am enjoying it, but I'm not giving it a 10 out of 10.
No, I'm with you. And it's not bad. And yeah, I just feel like that sounds degrading, but I think Greg Pak, he's doing a good job. I think the art team's doing a great job, and I stick with it. And if you've read it, it's from Dynamite Comics, so honestly, you should definitely check it out. If you're a
Yeah, if you're a
Supernatural fan as
Supernatural
well,
fan, yeah. But
it's
like
it's
I've read 4 of the novels now. They're like impossible to find past 4. I'm really hoping that
really
the
okay.
author is at the con again and I can buy more of the books. I've had my orders canceled twice of trying to pre-order Supernatural books. But
Wow.
like the first one was in New York, then there was Key West, then they were in the Grand Canyon, and then the last one was in San Francisco that I
Do they
read.
say why it's been canceled twice now?
I think they're just in higher demand than they expected to be, and these books are older. So I think that more people found, a lot of people I think found Supernatural during COVID. They've even said that
Right.
at the cons, like that the cons kind of blew up after COVID. And not many people were reading the books a million years ago.
That's fair.
And yeah,
No, that's fair.
but
That
I,
means we
I really
still
enjoy them. I want to buy all of them, and there's like a bunch of them, and I can't find them. Well, you can find them, but they're for like $75 on
Oh,
eBay or
yeah.
130
I'm
on
sorry.
Amazon. I'm not
No.
doing that.
No, 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 no. I am not
So
doing that either. Screw that.
there was another book I read. It's kind of a short thing. Maybe I will write a book review on it. I don't know. But it was really freaking so odd. I Googled Christmas books that aren't romance books, and this one popped up and it had good ratings. So I grabbed it. It's called An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good. I had no idea what it was going to be about. It is
Interesting.
about an 80-something-year-old lady who never got married and had kids. She had a reason. She didn't really want him. She genuinely likes being alone. But she's completely unhinged, and as soon as there's an inconvenience, she's not above murdering the person who's inconveniencing her.
Oh, well, that's a twist.
And
I
it
didn't see that
has
coming. Oh,
twists and
man.
turns throughout it, and it's really like you're reading it and you're just like, "What the oh my
Yeah.
gosh, really?"
What is happening here? This is unhinged. I like
So,
this.
it's such a short read. It was a little book. It's less than 200 pages. I read it in one day, because the pages are also kinda tiny. So, if you're kinda
Okay.
looking for
Yeah. Yeah.
something and, like, 2 of the stories take place around Christmas time. Because 2 of the chapters, I should say, because
Right.
it goes over a couple years. But if you're just looking for something to just kinda, like, giggle at and be like, "What the F?" and you wanna read by the Christmas tree or the fireplace, An Elderly Lady is Up to No Good.
All right. Sick. You should do a little, you know what? That would be perfect. You should. That's
It
like
was
a
just
fun
such a
little,
short book. I mean, I literally read it almost in one sitting.
yeah. Well, listen, not everybody's as good as reading it, good as a reader as you. I can't talk, but
Same
I
with
can read really
talking.
well. I can read really well. No, I got that going for
No,
me.
there are books I can
That's
fly
nice.
through. Like, I read a 400-page book in 3 days last month, and then I read a 200-page book in 2 weeks. It
Yeah.
honestly sometimes just depends on how engaging the book is, but this book was like the pages were little and the book was less than
It's
200
just a
pages,
small
so
book. Yeah. It's more like a short
yeah, it
story at
was a
that
small
point,
book.
right? So, yeah. All right. Well, we only really have one piece of news, and that is Danny Moonstar is getting a 5-issue limited series in March for her first ever solo run at Marvel Comics. She is a part, she's a Cheyenne Native American. She's got, she's a big part of the X-Men. And so that's going to be pretty exciting. I think that's pretty awesome that we're getting more and more representation in comic books. And it's an X-Men book I think I'm definitely going to pick up. I think it's really interesting because she's an interesting character. And so I'll go ahead and I'll pick that up. I got that. I'm excited for that one. Other than that, I ain't got no more news. So what
The
we
week
should
is
have
good,
done
we just
last week is
recorded.
this week because we had a lot of news. It felt like for Stranger Things, and that went on long. And this one
Right?
is now like, all right, so let's go ahead. We'll come in for the Grinch, or How the Grinch Stole Christmas, anyways. Yes, the How the Grinch Stole Christmas, the definitive, Grinch movie, in my opinion. I never really cared for the '60s version. I definitely,
Oh, how dare you, you ignorant
it's not that I
Jane, you
don't.
ignorant slut.
Okay, it's not that I don't mind. I don't know. Like yeah, of course, it's a pillar of society, but I just prefer
Are
this
your
one.
shoes on too tight? Is your head not
No, but
screwed on right?
my kids did say let's watch The Grinch the other day, and they put on that abomination that is the Benedict Cumberbatch one, and I
I
gotta
don't
draw the
hate that
line
one.
somewhere. That one's
I don't
awful.
love that one, but I don't think I've ever actually sat down and watched the whole thing.
I've never
But
watched
they
the whole
do
thing through because I
play
can't.
don't they play Nat King Cole's Christmas song in that though? And
I
I
don't know. I've
love
never
that
watched the whole
song
thing because
so much.
I've seen, maybe 30 minutes of it and that's enough. And God, awful. But inside of a snowflake, like the one on your sleeve, there happened a story you must see to believe. Now, this stars Jim
Mm.
Carrey, Taylor Momsen, who was also in Gilmore Girls, no big deal, Jeffrey Tambor, Christine Baranski, Bill Irwin, Molly Shannon, and so many more, including an adopted dog, one of 6 dogs that was Max, but one of them was adopted at a shelter by Ron Howard for this film. And
Who
now,
is the director?
yes, it was directed by Ron Howard. And so this was released November 17th in the year 2000. Yeah, crank this
Year
baby back. Maybe
2000.
that's why it's the definitive one to me because I was 10 years old. So I kind of really grew up with this one. And it's so good, and it's from Universal Pictures. The budget was $123 million and it ended up making $327 million, making it the highest grossing domestic film of 2000 and the second highest holiday film behind Home Alone. And it ended up winning Best Makeup and Hairstyling at the 73rd Academy Awards. So why don't you take us into the let's talk about the recap. Give us the recap.
So it's almost Christmas time, and the Who's are nose deep in Christmas consumerism. It's 99% off, 5 minutes only.
For the next
Meanwhile,
5 minutes only, everything is 99% off.
could you
Barfingles
imagine?
welcomes
People
you.
would die. That
Barfingles
would be like
welcomes
Black
you.
Friday.
I'm pretty sure some Who's died during that. There's no way. Even the dude who said it was 99% off, he got trampled. That guy's dead.
Probably, yeah. Yeah, and the sequel to The Grinch Stole Christmas is the Thanksgiving movie. His spouse is
Oh
out
yeah.
for revenge.
Oh God.
So, I did not ruin that movie. Actually, the spouse was not the killer, so you should go watch
Yes, that's
Thanksgiving.
true. You should. You should.
Meanwhile, a couple of high school Who's decide to go find the Grinch, and they find his door. It's the beginning of a horror movie, and you know which
You're
couple's going to
scared
die
of the
first.
Grinch.
Do
You're
it for
scared of the
me, Stu.
Grinch. Oh
A
my God.
giant fake Grinch head, voiced by Max, scares those little shits away as they fall back to Whoville. We meet da Grinch. He's sick of this nonsense, so he goes to get some quote social interaction.
I do really enjoy that. Okay, so he makes his way to Whoville before the teens, burps in somebody's face, which Logan, Lauren's son, thinks is absolutely hilarious, or they think they're
He
dead.
thought the guy died, and he
Yeah.
goes, "Can somebody really die from getting burped in your face?" And I'm like, no. Before I said no, he's like, "New fear unlocked."
You should have let him do that. We could have played a sick prank and burped in his face and see
Oh,
how he reacts.
I should have been like, Logan, if that were true, Grandma would have killed you ages ago.
It's true.
But
suddenly the teens show up screaming, "It was the Grinch! The Grinch? What do you want?" I mean, the Grinch. Oh no. The mayor does some, mayoring, calms everybody down. Come over here, Lou. Cindy Lou then asks her dad, "Why don't people talk about the Grinch?" Which dad skates around it like she was just asked where babies come from. The baby's here.
Sydney meets the Grinch. She falls into the crazy package sorter at the post office, so the Grinch saves her. She thanks him. He's offended that he thanked her, so he wraps her up in Christmas wrapping paper. She tries to tell her dad what happened, but he's just so damn proud of her for
Shaving you?
practicing.
Is that what you think I was doing?
Christmas wrapping.
I do appreciate how he's going to leave her, and then Max bites him. He goes, "Bleeding heart." I could just quote that. I'm sorry. I could.
No, you're good.
I think I know like every line almost, but
I didn't realize how much I guess I did realize how much I quote this movie, but yeah.
Bleeding hearts of the world unite. And then, yeah, of course. But
Back
I
home,
do
Mom is
appreciate
in
he's up there like Batman
competition.
in the corner, though. And then he comes
Yes.
flying
Yeah,
down.
he
at her.
is like Batman in the corner. So Mom is in competition with Martha May Whovier for the best lights.
Whovier.
Cut to Cindy, now inside, singing "Where Are You, Christmas?" Which, as an adult, that song makes so much sense because it's harder to find the feeling of Christmas.
Martha.
So then you're like,
I
feel it. As she wraps up, she says, "Did Christmas change or just me?" To which Logan then replied, completely missing the point, "Just you, bud."
Oh, you just wait, Logan.
I had a couple of Logans now because I was cracking up at his. He was like working on a puzzle while we were doing this. Like I'm sitting on the floor working the puzzle with him and writing the notes, and he just not even looking. He would just like say these things.
That's hilarious. I that's the best watching it, with our kids and everything, the way they react and it's the best, especially after you've been jaded as an adult. But back at the Grinch's lovely home, we do get the full tour. You said he's not lonely, but clearly is. You're an idiot. You're an idiot. After
I'm an idiot.
I'm gonna sound so quietly that nobody hear me. And then next day, the Cindy appears to be doing a podcast. She was the first of her kind. Really, she really was ahead of it. All right. And it's all about the Grinch, just like we're doing now. And she goes to visit the Grinch's moms, who explain he arrived in a basket during a swingers party, which I always thought they were putting their keys in because they didn't want to drink and drive. But
well, that's part of it. But then you take the keys out.
I now learned, yes, it was a swingers party.
See, this is a fun one for us to do because I watched this at the age of 17 and
10.
You watched it at the age of 10.
Yes, I did. And I always
we'll
I had
get
to
our first experiences.
Yes. So nobody knew that he was
recap.
outside until the next morning, and then we see him eat a Santa plate. Santa, bye-bye. Now he's drawing pictures of Santa exploding off to Martha May and the mayor. They tell a story of when they all went to school together. The Grinch made Martha a beautiful Christmas angel. The greens, Martha. The reds. The fires of love were all up in the Grinch as he made her something really nice. And, he ends up shaving his face. Look at that hack job, which, yes, he nicked himself many a times. And the mayor points that out. And everybody laughs at him because he's sitting there with the paper bag on his head. He's got the book in front of his face. And then you're 8 years old and you have a beard. Terrible. First and foremost, I would love to have a beard, and I'm 35 years old, so I would go back in time and beat the mayor's ass myself. All right. At least I don't have a stupid haircut like he does. Now, anyways, Martha emphasized, the muscles. And it was a horrible day. And
he's like, the anger, the muscles.
The Grinch ended up, I hate Christmas. He throws a tree, and then he runs up to the hill, the mountain there, and they never saw or heard from him again, to which Logan chimes in and says, that's a pretty sad backstory, and it's why people hate bullies. And honestly, you're 1,000% correct. Bullies are a-holes that should all deserve to get their asses whooped. But what do I know?
Logan also told me that you were getting ready to podcast tonight as he ran in here while I was prepping our next Supernatural episode. Matt's getting ready to podcast, and he ran out because he was talking to Oliver.
I was telling the kids I was getting ready, and then they told Logan to tell you that I was getting ready, and I was like, guys, she knows.
Oh, he did. He was very excited to run in here and tell me.
All right. Well, good. He sticks to his word. Good for him.
But it's like we have our own little secretaries that just coordinate with each other now.
That's true. Actually, it's really kind of nice.
So back in present day, they're getting ready for the holiday jubilation as they're picking Cheermeister
nominations. Jubilation.
The mayor asks for Cheermeister nominations, and Cindy nominates the Grinch. The mayor quotes something from the Book of Who, and Cindy throws a verse right back in his face. I love that.
I do.
Because it's obviously
back when you can call politicians on their shit.
Symbolism. So yeah. So the mayor finally agrees because if he doesn't show up, the mayor becomes Cheermeister.
Well, more or less.
So as the Grinch tries to drown out the joyful and triumphant music, Cindy lets herself in. She just walks in as he's having a giant clapping monkey from the Stephen King book with cymbals bang on his head. He tries to scare her. He even puts on a shirt and goes full Hulk.
I'm a psycho.
Logan responds, quote, you're embarrassing yourself, bud. Just stop, end quote.
That's the problem with your generation.
Cindy giggles at him. Anybody who's not heard me talk about my son, he's 8, just to give it some context.
Yes.
So Cindy actually laughs at this and invites him to the holiday Cheermeister event. He says he'll go, and then he pulls the wrong lever, Gronk, and she goes shooting down the thing, giggling all the way.
There wasn't a
but the invite flies. He has the invite. The Grinch then is contemplating whether or not he's going to go. He's like, he can't cancel dinner with himself again. He has to. Here, why don't you quote it? You're going to quote it better than me.
What
is it? Bask in loneliness or wallow in self-pity.
Oh, yes. I have to check my schedule. Bask in wallow in self-pity. Have dinner with myself. I can't cancel that again.
There it is. That's what I needed. Okay.
Yes.
So he steals some lederhosen from a
That's
Yodel
it. I'm not going.
Which I actually spelled Yodelayer correctly when I was typing that. I was certain it was
that's it. I'm not going.
You spell Yodelayer like you would sound Yoda and layer. Oh, as he worries it's a cruel joke or a cash bar, Max then pulls the lever, and now he has no choice but to go.
He's on his way down as they're about to crown the mayor, in fact, as the holiday Cheermeister. Now, the crowd quickly goes from terrified to, this is literally me on the holidays. So they're just, is that all you got? That is me right there. And then and there, man, you give me some cheese. You give me just cookie. I don't care what it is. Is that all you got? Come on. As he's like, Sheriff Cheer, you didn't tell me about the Sheriff Cheer. And he's like, come on. And so he gets put on that because there's an award. Guy. Now that's when he's about to get his award, and the mayor pulls out the shaver, the razor.
Different movie.
Yes.
The gift of a Christmas shave.
And it really PTSD flashbacks the poor Grinch, to which then the mayor proposes to Martha May. In addition to the ring, she'll also get a lovely new car donated by the wonderful people of Whoville. Yes, you must answer right now. And before Martha answers, she comments on the gifts, and the Grinch then interferes, talking about that's what it's all about. Pucker up, Whoville. I say that one a lot too, unfortunately. But, he then goes crazy, blows off the top, blows the lid off, shaves the mayor down the middle of his head. And my favorite part of that entire scene is the fact that he move over, I'm going to drive. And he gets on the little toy car and he drives it, and then he crashes it. And he's like, it's going to blow. And he's running away. And That might be my favorite scene in the entire movie, actually. Fun fact. So, yeah. Afterwards, the mayor then tells Cindy's dad, Lou, I'm hurt, Lou. I'm hurt, and I don't hurt easy. And he, trying to get the Christmas spirit back. As the Grinch heads back home, the Grinch laughs to himself. But then what happens? But the freaking Who's pull out another tree because the Grinch blew up the last tree, and they're celebrating.
Hurry, we have a backup.
Well, I know. And now he's determined to stop Christmas from happening. He then gets an awful idea.
But how? I mean,
it's a creepy
in which
scene
way?
because it's like the way they slow motion his face into that smile, it's creepy. But did you ever see the interview of Jim Carrey doing that smile on, I think it was like Conan or something? It was, he actually can do that smile. It's crazy.
Well, I love it. Tim Curry can too. Remember, he does it in Home Alone too.
Oh God, that's so creepy.
But he's obviously, mimicking the 1966 one.
Yes. But he's getting off idea. He's a mean one, Mr. Grinch. He then waits for Santa to finish his rounds, as he calls him Fat Boy. He gets Max and all of that good stuff as his reindeer. And what happens from there, of course?
So as they wake up, wait, did you get all that? Did you do the boo-hoos? Max was reindeer, Grinch's Who Bell says vengeance. I love that when he says vengeance. Cindy walks in on him. What the hell did I just get into? The mayor then tells Cindy, Dad, you did all that. He's determined to stop Christmas.
You're with Max as his reindeer. He's Grinch's as the Grinch's Grinch
is. You stopped in the middle of a paragraph.
No, I didn't. I was just sorry. I wasn't even looking at your paragraphs because I know this movie by
completely
heart.
Off script.
I got crazy because I was like, oh, yeah, of course. He gets Max as his reindeer because he couldn't find a reindeer. So then he sees Max looking stupid over there because Max was having a holly jolly Christmas when he got home.
This one was the Christmas for the dogs. Okay, I understand what's happening now. I was like, why'd you just abandon me in the middle of a paragraph?
Mission complete. He hears all the boo-hoo. He's waiting for all the boo-hoos. So
he's waiting for the boo-hoos. But I do love the part when the Grinch is Cindy walks in on him and she asks what Christmas is about, and he says vengeance, and then he says no, presents, of course, as he sends her to bed. So that was, he waited for Santa to do his rounds and he heads off. After he's stolen Christmas, I'm sorry, I got completely thrown off. I'm not used to Mac going completely off book. He usually reads directly from the prompter.
Not this time, because this movie I know by heart.
This would be like, when we did Lion King. We did do Lion King. So as they wake up, the mayor immediately blames the Grinch and tells Cindy he's disappointed. Her dad finally steps up and he's like, no, look, I'm proud of her. And he's happy that the Grinch took their presents because Christmas isn't about the gifts and the stuff, which is what Cindy has been trying to tell everyone the whole movie. Her dad says all that he needs is his family. As the Grinch hears the joyful noises, the Grinch's heart grows as he experiences feelings.
Help me. I'm feeling.
But then all the stuff starts to fall. All of the toys and the decorations and the presents and the trees.
Yeah, I know. He's trying to hold on to it so it doesn't go.
He tries to save it, and then he thinks, meh, it's just stuff. But oh no. Cindy Lou Who is on top of all the bags. She came to see him because no one should be alone on Christmas.
Good for you, Cindy Lou Who. You're the best of us, because me, I'd be pissed. I'd be going up that mountain to kill the Grinch. Gosh darn it. All right. I would. The Grinch, you took my PlayStation 1 toys from me at that point. I didn't wake up to a Medal of Honor game under my tree or a Spyro or a Crash Bandicoot. Guess who's getting the gat, Mr. Grinch? Get up from that one piece of trash. Of course, it's about the things. I was from a very troubled childhood. Do you think I want to spend time with my family? Hell no. Good Lord.
He then gets the strength of 10 Grinches plus 2. Off to Hoodville they go with all the stuff. They coming in hot as Martha May and Mom grab some lights to slow them down, and then Dad stands in front and stops the sleigh.
Yahoo Forest, Yahoo.
Grinch confesses we're not there yet and apologizes. Everyone is happy except the mayor, who then gets his engagement ring back as Martha's heart belongs to another. They all sing and have dinner at the Grinch's. Now you can sing. Go ahead.
In love with Yahoo Forest, Yahoo. Yes. All very happy in the end. All very happy. We still don't know where the Grinch came from. Why is
1966 one?
I don't know.
That's Christmas, man.
Yeah, so was this one. It's not Christmas. Still, Jim Carrey's getting all creepy with it. All right.
I also love Charlie Brown.
Pulling the mayor out. Yeah, Charlie Brown sucks so bad.
Love Charlie Brown. Halloween and Christmas. Thanksgiving is depressing, but Halloween and Christmas.
Charlie Brown's depressing. You're telling me that poor homeless kid stayed dirty and still got to go to school and nobody gave him a bath? Jesus Christ!
It's a different time, man.
Somebody should call CPS.
100%.
My goodness. I don't actually remember fully the first time I watched this movie, though. I will say it was It was when I was 10 in theaters, and then I watched it at home around the Christmas time, of course. But I have watched it just about honestly almost every year since it came out. Like I love this movie. It's amazing. I freaking love this movie, man. Like this is if it wasn't for Jingle All the Way and the exquisiteness of that movie, this would probably be my favorite Christmas movie of all time. Like I have three that
Oh
I love.
wow.
It's The Grinch, it's Christmas Vacation, and it's Jingle All the Way. Like those are my top three. I get like I love Home Alone, but Christmas Vacation, I've always wanted to be like Clark Griswold with how much he loves his family and like how what Christmas means to him is what Christmas means to me. It's you want to have like this big Christmas together. Christmas is super important to me. Take a drink every time I say Christmas, apparently. But like that's what I want to be as a dad, is that kind of dad who goes all out and gets all fun and
And
really
loses
leans
his
into
mind and
Christmas.
chainsaws off the post
Oh,
on the
I'm
stairs.
absolutely going to lose my mind and probably chainsaw my boss and kidnap my boss. Even he didn't do that, but
Hallelujah. Holy shit. Where's the
but like
Tylenol?
that is what Christmas means to me. The Grinch, I just grew up with this movie, and then Jingle All the Way. Need I say more? I won't. I'll spare the details.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
What about Elf? Where does Elf rank?
I do love Elf, but Elf doesn't hit on that. Elf and Home Alone are 4 and 5. If I had a top 5, those are my 4 and 5. Okay.
All right.
Those are my top 5 Christmas movies. I don't like A Miracle on 34th Street. That movie's ass.
Oh, yeah. I've never been a fan of that.
That movie sucks. But like
It's Wonderful Life is
they
garbage.
don't like really strike me in the heart and soul the way like these
What
movies
about
do.
an Elf? When you see Santa flying in New York City between the buildings, that moves me every time.
It does. Well, it does. I'll give you that. Like, it's a very Elf is very good. Like there's a reason why Elf is another quintessential, movie. Like they don't make comedies and Christmas movies the way, and it sounds like such an old person thing to say, but when was the last
Like that
time
are family friendly.
that? Yeah,
Like
or
Violent Night, fantastic. Night Before, fantastic. But you can't
they're
watch
not
those
like
with
family.
kids.
I mean, all the ones that have come out, on Netflix and stuff, they just don't hit the way that these do, and these
Right.
continue to do, and they transcend generations, man. Like they really do.
I will say, I don't think that we've had a family friendly Christmas movie that, like you said, transcends the generations. Because it's like, sure, I liked what was the one with Eddie Murphy? I liked Christmas Chronicles.
Oh yeah. Like those are decent, but I don't.
But
I
I don't
never.
even think about them the next year
Oh, I don't either. I've never watched them
until they
again.
come up. Yeah. Like the one
These
with
are like
Ludacris, not
must.
Ludacris. Yeah, the one with Ludacris was enjoyable. But again,
Yeah.
I
It's
didn't
not.
see.
It doesn't. They don't have the heart. I guess is maybe it's
Right.
because I'm old. Maybe it'd be
Maybe
interesting to see. We talk to our kids like what
they'll be
were
watching with their
your.
kids.
But most of the Christmas movies that like my kids pick out to watch are home. They love Home Alone 1 and 2. They love The Grinch. Elf is another one. So they really tend to pick these out, or they'll pick their
Nightmare
stupid.
Before Christmas stuff
Yeah, that
in
one
our
too.
house. Yeah.
They'll pick up, things like that. I've not seen them really. We sit down and watch the new Christmas movies that come out, but they aren't
Santa
rewatched
Claus
the
movies
way
are
they
ones
are.
in our house. Yeah.
Right. Which we're going to do next week actually with Kat. So
Yeah. Home Alone's already been played like 3
that's
times.
typically our Thanksgiving night when we do all of the Christmas decorations. However, we've already decorated. So Thanksgiving night, we'll probably watch Home Alone. That's like our
Brielle
family
put it on
kickoff.
at November 1st at midnight with her
Oh my God.
friends. She went
That's
from a horror movie till the clock struck midnight, and
the
then they
horror
put on
of,
Home
oh
Alone.
my God, Christmas is already here. You
Yeah.
said I must stop Christmas from coming.
No, I was asleep in the other room. She had friends sleep over, and that's what they did. I'm like, what time did you guys? Because I woke up
Good
at
for her,
3
though.
a.m. and I walked out there, and the TV's blaring, and they're all passed out.
Good for her though. She's into it.
But so I was, 17 when this came out, but I remember the first time I saw the movie poster, and it was just the Grinch's hand, like a real hand,
Oh
not a
yeah, with the
cartoon
bell
hand,
or whatever.
and the ornament. And it just said Christmas 2000, and I was so excited. And then I remember seeing this movie, and we were we were eating sandwiches, and my one friend was eating sandwiches, and then as we were leaving, he was still full from the sandwiches, and he drove over both of the parking things. And I just remember him looking at me and going, "Oh shit." And then us both just laughing. And that was the first time I saw the Grinch. I was a senior in high school.
How the Grinch stole sandwiches is more like
The
it.
Grinch stole sandwiches. It was a fun first experience.
We were talking about this. It is funny too that, like I mentioned, Brielle and Oliver are 3 years apart, and they seem further apart. But then you mentioned seeing this at 17, and I was only 10, and so it feels like we're a lot closer in age than we are, I guess, versus like our kids now. And I guess it's just adolescence, like they all age
I think
differently.
it's when you
But
get older, and I think it's how old you are when you
yeah,
meet.
that's
Because
true.
what was it? We were talking to somebody, and it's like, well, like all of my friends, like most of us have siblings that are like 2 years younger than us that were all in the
Yeah.
same grade. Like I remember we all went to the
You guys all
graduation
knew
for our
each other and stuff
siblings.
too. Yeah.
Yeah, so it's funny because it's like we still look at them as the younger siblings, and you're younger than them.
I know. And it's I'm younger than your brother who just turned 40. So like
Yes,
it's kind of
my
just
baby
funny how
brother.
all of that works out. And I'm the oldest sibling in my family. Um, and so it's weird. It's just funny dynamics. But
Outside
yeah,
of
I
Tabby, I'm the oldest on both sides. She's the only one that's older than me.
oh wow. I didn't
Yeah.
realize. I guess maybe I did, but yeah, this movie just man, it really makes me feel good to the point where there's I love quoting movies, but I think between like this and The Dark Knight or Batman, and Jingle All the Way, I quote these movies far more than any one person kind of should in
I feel
everyday
like we're gonna
life.
throw up and die. I quote that
We're
more
gonna
often
throw.
than
I'm gonna throw up, and then we're gonna
but I
die.
don't think anybody ever knows what I'm saying when I say
I
it.
fully understand because that's when they're going down the thing. It's like I'm gonna
Yeah,
throw up.
but I
I'm
feel like
gonna,
I've said it
we're
on
gonna
like a roller
die.
coaster before or something.
I've said that like all of these things, it's just what are you looking at? And I always tell my kids like I'm a psycho, and then I get all crazy. But let's go into some fun facts real quick.
I
There's a
loathe
lot.
entirely.
Oh god, yeah, that's how I feel far too. But the 1966 cartoon version and the book actually both have an exclamation point. I guess this one doesn't,
But
of
this
course.
movie
But
doesn't. It's just How the Grinch Stole
interesting.
Christmas.
It's just the
Not
Grinch.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Not the Grinch. Yeah, there's no excitement. This one's just the Grinch stole Christmas again. You know it by this point, or do you? This is the
Don't watch Uncle
unedited
Ben die.
Cindy Lou because Cindy Lou Who in the cartoon, she's only supposed to be 2, where she's obviously not 2 years
Yes,
old
no
in
more
this.
than two. Cindy Lou Who.
Which
Brielle looked like Cindy Lou Who when she was a
interesting.
baby.
Wow, that's cute. That's adorable.
We're like, we need to get her giant ornament to hold.
I saw, when you come across pictures of your kids as babies, then you're like, what happened?
They used to be so cute.
They were so little. But Theodore Seuss Geisel, is that how you pronounce it, is the name
Sure.
of Dr. Seuss. His widow actually licensed the rights to do the movie. Jim Carrey first met her when he was working on The Man on the Moon, so he was in character as Andy Kaufman. But it
He
worked.
went full
He signed
method.
on. There is more to this. I lied to you on accident. I didn't mean to, but this next fun fact I'm going to say combined. So in 1998, it was actually Seuss's widow's agents who told everybody that the film rights to The Grinch would be auctioned off by this, but the suitors had to be willing to pay $5 million up front, 4% of the box office gross, 50% of merchandising revenue, and 70% of book tie-in profits and music-related income. In addition to that, any actor considered for the role of the Grinch had to be of similar stature to these actors who were actually considered for the Grinch. Jack Nicholson, Eddie Murphy, Robin Williams, and Adam Sandler, who were all considered, but Jim Carrey ultimately accepted after hearing kids sing "You're a Mean One." So additionally, like only the directors who previously earned $1 million box office were to be considered. So like Tim Burton at one point was considered, but he
That would have
turned
been
it down. So
a
Tim
different movie.
Burton was going to do it, but he was doing Sleepy Hollow, so he didn't do it. And then
I think
John
that would have been
Hughes
cool.
also
And
pitched a
honestly,
version.
the poster though with the Grinch holding the ornament, that looked it looked a little bit creepy. Like I thought this was going to be a darker Grinch movie than it was. And I feel like if Tim Burton had directed, we might have got that.
Oh, I have no doubt we probably would have gotten something weird, but he was doing Sleepy Hollow. And then, John Hughes and the Farrelly brothers also threw their hat in the ring with, Jack Nicholson and stuff like that, but they didn't get picked up. And Ron Howard had to be kind of talked into it. And in the end, Universal ended up paying $9 million for this. And John Stamos actually also auditioned. Unfortunately, though, he was allergic to the prosthetics.
He auditioned for the Grinch?
Yeah, but he was
John
allergic to the
Stamos?
prosthetics. Yep.
Well, that was probably a good thing.
Yeah. So I didn't mean to jump over there, but yes, it ultimately ended up working. She did have veto power, and without her veto power, this probably would have had a lot more adult humor and dirty jokes, which I'm surprised at the ones that kind of got in there, like the keys in there. And
Yeah, the keys ones got in, but what surprised me is I didn't look this up, but you've seen Cat in the Hat.
oh my God, that movie
There's
is a horror movie. You want to talk about a horror movie?
he
You
literally
dirty hoe.
goes
I'm just
dirty
kidding, baby. I
hoe.
love you. And
Right, and then you have the gardening tool, and he's like, "Oh, it's a dirty hoe." I'm like, I feel like she
yes.
would have vetoed that. So it's like, was she just was like after the Grinch? She's like,
She
here,
probably
whatever.
only cared about the Grinch, I guess. I don't know. Who knows?
No.
I would be interested to. Oh God, that movie's a horror film. That's maybe a next October film to go through because that movie is
Aw, the
terrifying.
young Grinch passed away.
Yes, yes. So Josh Ryan Evans, who was the 8-year-old Grinch, this was actually his final role before he passed away in the year 2002. He used
I
to be
hope
on
he
like
was
daytime
older than
soap.
he
I don't know how
looked.
old he was exactly, but I know he was on like Days of Our Lives and soap operas at the time,
Well,
as
that's
well.
sad. I mean, it's hard to tell because he had the Grinch
But
makeup on.
yeah, he was excellent. But unfortunately, this was his like final film, which is it's always sad, man. But he's immortalized at the same time, so like it's still cool that like you know people who knew him know him, close to him, all that stuff. He's immortalized on a pantheon of Christmas films.
Yeah. So when the Grinch is directing Max in the movie on what to do, this was actually Jim Carrey making fun of Ron Howard, and Ron Howard thought it was hilarious, so he kept it in the movie. I think a lot of people, I've heard this fun fact for years. Jim Carrey was so uncomfortable during the process of becoming the Grinch that he got torture training by a CIA agent. It was yak
Yes.
hair dyed green sewn onto spandex. They also wanted to originally paint Carey green. It took 2.5 hours each day to put it on, an hour to take it off. What's interesting though is then you look at somebody like Drax the Destroyer or Gamora, and like it took way longer for them to get it. So when I
Yeah.
actually read that it took like 2 hours to put it on, I was surprised it wasn't more. So
I thought it
originally,
was more too in crazy.
yeah. I mean, I still wouldn't want to sit there for 2 hours having somebody. I mean, I barely straighten my hair because I don't take the
A
time
lot
to
of the
get ready.
prosthetics were like the nose, the fake teeth, the
Oh, he
eyes. They
didn't
tried
like
to
the
do
eyes. The
contacts.
contacts weren't
Well,
great.
they didn't work, so a lot of the eyes are actually CGI'd yellow
Well, and
and
they do
everything
that
like
so
that.
easy now. It's funny if you'll watch Supernatural outtakes
Oh
from the
yeah.
earlier show, and there's so many where like people are missing their marks because they can't see at all with the eyes. Well, and the guy who plays
Oh yeah, the
Nightcrawler,
black. Yes.
he said that's been one of the new nice things about
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah,
doing
yeah.
Secret Wars. Is it Secret Wars now? No, it changed. Yes, it's Secret Wars. I can't keep up anymore. But yeah, he didn't have to
It's
wear
Secret Wars.
contacts
Yeah, the
anymore.
next Avengers film. Yes,
Yes.
Doomsday or whatever.
I'm like, wait,
Doomsday.
what got canceled and what's still
Yes,
happening?
Doomsday.
All right. So
I
originally, Carey had
I
left the
don't know.
set after being so irritated and kicked a hole in the wall of his trailer, but eventually met with Ron Howard and promised to control his temper. He's a
Yeah,
psycho.
he was irritated from the prosthetics and everything. Like it left him. People were commenting like
Ah,
they were kind of afraid of him because he was so irritable and angry and everything like that due to the makeup and everything. So he ended up leaving. They had to like talk him into coming, and they ended up getting the person to work with him and whatnot. And Ron Howard, even in solidarity, ended up dressing up as the Grinch one day and directed like that the whole day, which good on Ron Howard because Jim Carrey at the time that this is the peak of his career. You've coming out of the 90s into 2000, Jim Carrey was the guy everybody wanted to work with. He was the guy in comedy. And so imagine, you're going to be paired with Jim Carrey and he's just this awful person to work with and it ruins a lot of things, but I'm glad to see it ended up working out.
yeah, no, 100%. I didn't know this one. Whoville was created
But
behind the
so
iconic
actually,
Bates Motel.
yes, the Bates Motel on the Universal lot right behind it is where they built Whoville and filmed majority of this film actually, which is pretty cool.
Ooh, that is fun.
Yeah, it is a good fun fact. So Christine Baranski's daughter was an extra in this film. And then also Ron Howard had cast his daughter and brother, his daughter, Dallas Howard. We all know her. She was an extra and said that was her first paying gig, while her brother played the mayor's right-hand man. I never knew
And
that
you
was her
can,
brother.
I didn't either, but when I did the fun facts before I put the movie on, I was like, oh, I can definitely
You
see
can
that
see it like
now.
now that you know it, you can go back and see
Yeah,
it. Yeah. Ron Howard has like very distinct like nose and his ears and stuff. So if you go back
yeah.
and watch it, you can kind of tell, I guess.
Embrace is so pretty. It's always funny
Mm,
when you have a goofy parent and a
sure
gorgeous
is.
child.
It is kind of funny, yeah. Some
But
of the background characters were actually Cirque du Soleil performers, which I think is pretty cool.
Cirque du Soleil.
And then Martha has jewels in her hair as a grown up, which are from the tree topper that the kid Grinch made her. I never knew that until we did
Aw.
this film. I never
I
knew
didn't
that.
know that either. I didn't know that till this morning. Sir Anthony
Yeah.
Hopkins recorded the entire narration in one day. What a great gig. Come in one day, use your regular voice, read The
This is
Grinch,
before the internet, so he had to come in actually, and he didn't
and he
just get to
probably
sit in
got
his
paid
closet.
a crap ton for it.
Oh, this is prime time Anthony Hopkins. My man's was paid, I bet. Yeah.
I love that he's like so iconic in so many areas of like the
Everything.
different
He spanned
characters and the
genres.
range he
Yeah.
has. Yeah. And then he
Awesome.
voices. And you remember who? Do you remember who voiced the original one? This was one of the trivia questions on our Christmas
Um,
special.
it's not Burl Ives.
No,
Something.
Burl Ives actually does I think the Rudolph stuff, or maybe Frosty. He does the older stuff.
Oh,
The
that's right. He does
Grinch isn't
those.
older,
You're
but
right. He does those. I don't remember his name though.
it was Boris Karloff
That's what it was. Dang it. Now that
because he does
yes.
horror stuff.
I knew there was a B. Yes, yes,
A
yes.
B. Yeah, that's true. Maybe that's one we should do next year, are the classics like Rudolph and Frosty and crap.
I
Because we
do
were
love
trying to
those.
think, like, what
Yeah,
haven't we done? Because we were supposed to do the movie Silent Night from 2021, and then I watched it, and I was like, we are not doing a whole episode on that. I can't handle this.
that was. I didn't watch it. I don't think I want to.
So the actors had to go to Who school to learn how to move like a Who, which it made me think of the zombie school. They have zombie school in The Walking Dead.
I'm doing the zombie dance. Oh, wrong movie. You're right.
I don't know. Or is that zombies with the kid, and the
From
Mary
Disney.
Winchester?
Yeah, yeah.
So there are, this was the first live action Dr. Seuss movie. Obviously, we've had
Oh.
a few since then. And there are a couple other Dr. Seuss nods in this movie, speaking of other live action movies. Although they haven't done Horton Hears a Who live action, but they did do the cartoon.
No, they did the cartoon, the Lorax's cartoon as well.
Yeah. Was it just, is the only other live
Cat
action
in the Hat. I think.
Cat in the
I think
Hat? Is
it's
that
Cat
it?
in the Hat and this. Yeah, I'm pretty sure these are the only two that are live action.
Interesting. I feel like they should
Should have
do
been
the
more.
Lorax live action would be good.
Yeah.
We need the Lorax right now. We need somebody to speak for
I
the
speak
trees.
for the trees
So,
because nobody else will.
the roof of Whoville's town center features a huge countdown to Christmas clock. There's a torch-bearing statue on top, and it is shaped as Horton from Horton Hears a Who.
Oh,
You
that's
can
cool.
also see Cindy Lou Who pass Max a plate full of green eggs and ham at the end of the movie.
Oh,
I think
I'll have
after
to
Cat
look.
in the Hat, they're like, we're not going to let y'all do any more movies. This was horrendous.
Yeah, we're not doing this anymore. This does not translate to live action the way we all hoped and thought
Here,
it
I'm going
would.
to Google it while you take us off
Yeah.
on the rest of them.
Now, the scene where the Grinch pulls the sheet out from under the dishes was not actually supposed to happen. So Jim Carrey came back and knocked all the dishes over. Yeah, he was supposed to knock all the dishes over when he pulled the thing. It worked out too well, so he came back and stuck. I love it. Now, Taylor Momsen, excuse me, has a band, The Pretty Reckless. And what's fun about this is she quit acting to do this band. She quit Gilmore Girls out of nowhere. Didn't tell anybody. She just ghosted him one day. Now she has done a Christmas album that's out with her re-recording 3 of the songs from The Grinch that I have not listened to, but she has an amazing voice. I've seen them live a few times, so gonna have to check that one out. And this is a really good one because the trailer for this film was shown during Mission Impossible 2 as Paramount agreed that if Universal showed the Nutty Professor 2 The Clumps before The Grinch, they would do the Grinch trailer before Mission Impossible. I think Universal got the better end of the stick on that one because the Nutty Professor, oh God, those movies
Hercules.
awful. Somehow this movie has a 49% on Rotten Tomatoes, which, you all are dumb. All right. I'm going to say right now, dumb. You're all wrong. And Roger Ebert even gave the film 2 out of 4 stars or 5 stars. 2 out of 4? Maybe. I can't remember. I messed up my notes here. Apologies. Either way, he gave it 2 stars, describing it as a dank, eerie, weird movie about a sour creature, and noting that the production design lacked the festive brightness that the material required. Ebert remarked that Carey works as hard as an actor has ever worked in a movie to small avail, but noted that adults might appreciate Carey's effort in an intellectual sort of way. You know what? What does he know anyways?
Due to the poor reception of The Cat in the Hat, Dr. Seuss's estate has reportedly not permitted further live action adaptations. However, supposedly, we'll believe it when it happens, there will be an Oh, the Places You'll Go movie in 2028. We'll see.
I doubt it.
That info is AI. So I'm trying to find the website it came from, but who knows?
All right,
the Places We'll Go would be a fan. I mean, that would be fun, especially that's like a common
that
thing
is
for parents to have their kids' teachers sign it.
Actually, that was the theme of Oliver's room before we knew, like, we put kind of all the places you go and things like that up in his room. Like, that was one of the first books that we displayed in his room and everything like that. Carey loves that book. And so that one I do hope gets made and it does really well because it's something that means a lot to, the both of us. But
yeah.
We do have Grinch non-movie fun facts. So why don't you take those before we kind of wrap this episode up?
So, and we will have more Grinch fun facts on our live episode, much to Matt's delight.
We will.
So,
oh my goodness.
Here's
it's just me quoting Grinch for 2 hours.
The Grinch's first appearance in anything was actually a poem by Dr. Seuss called The Hubbub and the Grinch in 1955. In this poem, he's yellow instead of green, and he tricks the Hubbub into buying a piece of string. Dr. Seuss based the character on himself because one Christmas he was not feeling very merry because his wife was not feeling well, and he felt people were getting too much about presents, which is they really leaned into in the movie. So he's not green in the book. He's black, white, and gray and has red eyes. They did contemplate doing that for this movie, and then they're like, no, we're going to mirror it on the 1966.
Yeah, no, you have to. Everybody knows the Grinch is green, I feel like. So that would have been weird, even though the book,
But do you have the book?
Source material.
If you read the book, he's not green.
I know, I have the book.
Okay. But yeah, it would be weird
if you dare quote to me? I was there when it was written.
In the 50s?
I wasn't, but you were.
In the 50s?
Yes.
Yes.
It was the 50s.
I was born in the 50s. Follow me for my youth.
There was no color, and then one day Lauren woke up and the world was full of color. Believe it or not,
and I sang "The Wonderful Wizard of Oz."
That's true. I have not seen Wicked yet. Harper gave Wicked a 5 out of 5 stars, apparently. So this is her movie of the year. Again. I think we're gonna go see Zootopia tomorrow. Zootopia 2. Apparently, that one is getting really good early reviews. So I'll have to talk about that one. I got nothing going on. We'll see. Depends on the weather. It's supposed to rain, snow, all that kind of stuff. But
it's gonna snow
next week. Oh, maybe it might snow next week too. Who knows? I kind of hope we do. You know what? I hope it snows every single day until I leave for my cruise. Okay, because I don't want to work. I haven't worked since October.
If it snows, you don't have to work.
In Virginia, they'll shut all the roads down. Come on, of course. Oh. You get 2 inches of snow, they'll shut it down.
Why would they shut it down? Don't you guys get snow every year almost?
Yeah. Anyways, next week we are going to be doing the Santa Claus tour because they're not used to snow here like that. They don't have the proper stuff for the roads. They shut down a lot last year, their highways and things.
Oh. Okay.
We're not like Massachusetts where you can drive in snow. It's not like that here in Virginia.
I don't know.
Think if when Florida gets snow, they shut everything down. But yeah.
But yeah, because we're not supposed to.
I don't like driving in
snow. People were salting their
driving in snow because
table salt.
That is hilarious. But it's salt nonetheless, so it still works.
Repels demons too.
Well,
that's all I got.
It does. But Santa Claus 2 is next week with Kat. Yes. And then December 10th is our live.
I'm going to be quoting next week.
Oh my God. I have to rewatch. I've watched Santa Claus 1 recently. I don't really remember Santa Claus 2 as much, so I do need to revisit, but I'm excited.
I really love that movie.
Really? Yeah, they're good movies. Like Tim Allen sucks now, but Tim Allen, I guess, didn't suck to me when I was a child watching these movies. So I still love the Santa Claus movies. They're top 10 Christmas movies.
Not the third
I just
one.
have to rank everything.
Else.
Oh no, the third one's terrible. Sorry, Martin Short couldn't even save the third one, but yeah.
Martin Short was part of the reason the third one was so bad. I love him, but his Jack Frost character just ruined it.
It was awful. It was awful.
It was terrible.
It was so bad. Terrible. Yeah. But thank you, everybody. Like, subscribe, share, follow hopsgeeknews. Do us a favor, leave a comment, leave a review, all of that stuff. Help the podcast grow. It is Christmas season. I'm going to be going on a Disney cruise for Christmas in a couple of weeks. Holla. We'll be seeing Lauren again. And then, before we know it, we're doing our recaps for the end of the year because this year just flew by in 2026. So thank you, everybody who has supported us. 2 episodes ago till we hit 300. Thank you for all of the fun you've given us along the way, and have a holly jolly lead up to Christmas because goddamn, the Black Friday deals are here.